Illinois. We just saw the Illini on Saturday, as you mentioned. We thought they looked pretty good against BYU. What's standing out there as you assess Illinois?
You look at what Illinois struggled with last year. Well, they really didn't have any leadership, partially because they only have 5 or 6 guys that you could play. They got great experience from Maverick Morgan, Michael Finke, even DJ Williams, who's not even playing right now. Guys got great experience, so now they have depth. But when you get Tracy Abrams back, it's a game changer. He's kind of the pit bull for John Gross. He's the coach on the floor. He's a 6-year guy who sat out 2 years. And a lot of people say, oh, well, how is he going to be sitting out 2 years? And I say, look, you learn a ton sitting out. You learn about how slow the game should be. You learn about how much you really press and how much you force things and how much you really shouldn't have to worry about that you really do. So I like him back in the lineup. I think he's the leadership that they need. They've got a ton of experience with LaRon Black, with Malcolm. I haven't even talked about Malcolm Hill. You know I love Malcolm Hill. He's the kind of the 3rd, 4th guy on my list there. You also have 2 back-to-the-basket post players that you could throw the ball into in Maverick Morgan and Mike Thorne Jr. There are not many teams outside of Purdue in the conference and even in the country that have what Illinois has.
Maverick Morgan's really improved.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he was awfully good on Saturday. And you're right. I mean, Abrams is a great story. We spent some time with him on Saturday. He's going to get 3 degrees.
It's ridiculous, man.
Out of this, first person in his family to go to college.
Yeah,
he ends up with 3 degrees and tremendous perspective. He was telling us about all the reading that he had done in the interim and how much that had motivated him.
You got to root for a kid like that.
Oh, absolutely. Very, very easy to root for, no doubt about it. So what about this game against Mizzou tonight? As a Missouri team that offensively is really challenged, to say the least, how does Illinois match up with them?
You've got to come into this like it's a huge rivalry game, and you want to beat them by 50. And I think Illinois has to start to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. And I talked about the middle of the pack being wide open. Illinois has to be that team that says, we're not in that middle of the pack. We're number 4 in this conference. Or potentially scratch the surface and get into that 3 spot if Indiana or Purdue or Wisconsin start to fall apart. So Illinois is a team that if you look at them on paper, they've got everything. So there's no reason why they lose this game unless they forget to play basketball, unless they forget to show up. They've got 10 to 12 bodies that can play, so if one doesn't work, John Gross has somebody else to come in. It's got to be sense of urgency, and it's got to be aggression. I love what John Gross told us. He said, we're either going to shoot the ball quickly in the shot clock if we have it, or we're going to work it. Because this team can play fast. They've got the bodies. They also have the skill set. But they also can play in the half court, which makes them a really dangerous team to match up with.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think they have a lot of really good pieces, and they are starting to put them together. And this is not a game that should challenge them much tonight if they play well. I mean, this is a team that just lost to Eastern Illinois. They've lost to North Carolina Central. Missouri's still trying to find its way, and I think we get the sense now that Illinois is on the right path. So the Illini, no doubt.